Everyone's attention, please. Well, it's been a great ride, but Catherine's moving back home and taking over. Guys, meet your new boss.
You gotta be kidding me. I have underwear older than her.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us for episode 5 of First Eps. This week, we're talking about the new Netflix series, The Crew, starring Kevin James, about a NASCAR crew trying to, do things.
Drive their way to the top.
Driving their way to the top. So let's get into it. I'm Eric.
I'm Keith.
This is First Eps.
First Eps. All right. What's going on, Keith? How are you this week? Doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be back chatting about this great new series that we just watched.
Mm-hmm.
When we decided to watch The Crew, it was kind of like, we got to watch something. Let's watch The Crew.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a theater crew, like backstage in a musical or something. And I was like, yeah.
You wish. But so let's talk. So NASCAR, big fan? No, I take that as a no.
Absolutely not. It's okay. I mean, yeah. I've gone once. I actually did go to Watkins Glen once. Have you ever been?
No, I've never gone to one.
Okay, so I mean, what I've seen is they've got kind of like a fairground vibe to them. They had all these food places and vendors. But whenever the cars come around, it gets so loud you can't even chew or think.
Yeah,
or
you gotta wear those
crazy
big earphone things.
I guess so. I don't know. It was intense, but I didn't know much about it. So yeah, it was okay.
I used to watch it when I was younger. My dad was really into it, so we watched it every week. Okay. We had our favorites. It was a
Tom Petty,
Rusty Wallace guy. No, Tom Petty is not a NASCAR driver.
There was some Petty guy.
The Petty family was big into it. Yeah, Richard Petty, and that sort of thing. But that also might have. Yeah, that was NASCAR. But yeah, so we didn't know much about NASCAR going in, and I didn't know how NASCAR centric it was going to be. I knew it was just like a sitcom, but didn't know how much about NASCAR was going to be involved in this. Yeah. So I brushed up. I watched every single NASCAR race ever made. I did it for 3.5 weeks straight. Just an intravenous.
How many laps was that?
A lot. But yeah, I just had one of those Budweiser helmets with the 2 beers coming down.
They just kept pouring it in.
Yep, and then just a steady stream of hot dogs just coming at me. You know how I like it.
Just another Saturday.
Exactly. So first, I guess we should start by saying this episode brought to you by product placement. When you need something delicious, crack a nice cold one. Right. I didn't have a Budweiser or an Anheuser-Busch beer that we saw regularly throughout the episode. Mm-hmm. So, we're going the next level, baby. Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Going to chug it down.
Well, turn it over the other way because all we saw was the bar.
I know, I'm terrible at this. I got to take some tips from Kevin James on how to do proper product placement throughout an entire episode.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
So what did we think about the characters? There was Kevin James.
All right, let's talk. Let's talk about the characters. So I want to just talk about real quick. We're not going to go bit by bit about this one, point by point, because there wasn't much. But I will start. Let's just talk about how it starts, because I think that's very important. It starts with Kevin James talking to his race car driver, giving him a pep talk, and the guy's just moving like this, and it's very obvious he has headphones in or something. He's not listening.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, wah, 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 he's got headphones in the whole time, doesn't hear it. Cue the laugh track. The worst laugh track I think I've ever heard, because it was
so distracting.
I try to keep my cursing to a minimal when we're talking on this show, but I can't do it, dude. This show got me fired up. So this fucking laugh track, man, holy cow, it was insane. insane. And then like, all right.
I don't know who the intern was who decided that they would be in charge of a laugh track because it was hot and heavy.
Dude, but then it would focus on like these jokes that were like not funny at all.
Yeah,
and then it would put this laugh track in it for like, dude, one of them went for like 6 seconds.
Yeah,
and
you timed it. I remember you said that.
Was awful. Like right from the very start. I mean, not even the show. We'll get to that conclusion. But the very start. And then we just see, so then we learn, so we got Kevin James who plays Kevin. Very and then
I know I thought that too. I'm like, really? You can't even have a name? Like
this is
Kevin
coming off his last show that he started in called Kevin Can Wait, where he also played a man named Kevin.
So is he just playing himself? I mean, he's pretty much playing himself, right?
He is playing himself, I feel. I feel like he plays the same character in every show.
Yeah,
this one, and I've always thought he was likable. I always like Kevin James in King of Queens. He was like a oafish guy, like and like he would blunder his way through things. This one, he's a lot more like aggressive.
I thought he was almost bordering on like, like employee like battering at the one part. He like pushes the driver down
right in the start because of the headphone thing. He like pushes him because he wasn't listening because of the headphones. And immediately thought, I'm like, this is insane. Like how like aggressive is he because he's not listening to him with headphones? Kevin James has deeper issues here than whatever's happening. That was crazy. So moving into the gist of the show, we learned Bobby is the guy. He's the guy that is the owner of the team, the NASCAR team, and he's
like
retiring.
He's got the hat on, like the 30-gallon hat.
Oh yeah, he is the tried and true NASCAR guy. It's his 70th birthday, and he wants to retire from running the show. So who's going to take over his
Stanford educated daughter?
Oh, she's got an education and she's a woman.
I saw that too.
She's a millennial. She does things a little different than we do around these parts. Oh my God.
It's so funny. When I was like, oh God, here we go. Like, it's going to be just the most, I'm trying to think of how to say this. Just a certain angle that I thought my fears about the demographic that they're going to try to play to in this was kind of, they started down in that direction, but then they really never got to that direction. And instead they kind of waited in this weird middle ground where we'll talk about that in a little bit, but it was just like almost offensive, but then almost bland at the same time.
I agree. They didn't like go with it. Like I thought it was going to be like a more of a show for their like a conservative audience or a more right-wing audience.
Yeah, like I was thinking like Roseanne, like a brand new Roseanne, like that kind of like just him out of the ballpark for like more blue-collar working guy who just wants to laugh.
Yep, like that Tim Allen show. I don't remember what it's called, but like
Improvements?
No, he's got a new one where it's more like he's just like a like Republican.
Yeah. Salt of the earth kind of guy living life. Yeah.
So there were a lot of jokes, and I don't know if that's what they were going for, and just because of the writing didn't get there. But there were a lot of, I mean, nothing like overtly misogynistic or classist or anything like that. But it was all there. It was just like just everything with the woman that takes over, Catherine, she's his new boss. Oh no, what are we gonna do? So then he's giving her a tour, and this is where I realized that this character Kevin is a dickhead. Like he was just not friendly.
Here's where all the corporate stuff happens: accounting, marketing, boring. Pretty much where fun comes to die. It's Beth's problem. The worst part of the job, I gotta be honest with you. It really is. Hey, Carl, couldn't do it without you.
Oh, actually, if you have a minute, I've been meaning to tell
Obviously
you that...
not now, Carl, right?
Sorry?
There you go.
And I'm like, who's the hero in this show? Who is the person that we're supposed to be relating to?
Right.
And I think it's Kevin. So that's when I realized, I'm like, okay, this is not. I mean, I knew it prior to that. I knew it when they made a joke about Hamilton tickets. How many tickets to Hamilton you got? 2 tickets. Too many. I knew that wasn't. Too. I knew the show wasn't for me then. But at this point, when I was like, Kevin is like just a dick. Like all right, who am I rooting for? Because like he's the one that wants to take over the shop and do things his way. But yeah, I don't know. And then I don't know if Kevin James had a hand in writing this, but then one of my favorite parts was when then we show him punching that arcade machine because he hits it so hard and he's like such a big tough man. Like, did we really need to show that?
Yes.
Oh,
he was upset about the takeover and not being consulted, so he went there to the bar and he had to punch that, like those punching.
Yeah, the arcade punching.
Yeah, he got over 900.
900 guys! Wow. So,
yeah, like, is there a ranking for that? I don't really know what that means, but
yeah, who knows, dude?
But Beth was excited about that.
Yeah,
I don't know what she does, but what are the?
She's the office. Characters? Beth is the office manager. She's one of the other characters. She's fine. She's like kind of his like friend and his like possible love interest down the line. I don't know.
Oh, possible, please. That was another one too. My God, they hit us over the head with that. From the moment we saw her, we know that she was into him. And then like at the very end of the episode, she's like, well, I'm not so sure it'd be hard for you to find someone in the office who would like you. And then he just ignores it and they end that scene. I'm like, really? Yes. Does the audience need to know this heavy-handed that they're going to be a love interest coming up? Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other people there is the mechanic, Chuck, who I think it was my favorite part of the whole show.
Sure.
And then the engineer, Amir, who is just like there, just for like. Oh,
he was a Hamilton guy. He was the nerdy one. Laugh. He's smart. He can take
or
whatever he did.
That'll be the butt of the joke throughout the series, like the classy, like smart guy, like who's like when we're not making fun of like young millennials or women, we'll target that guy because he likes Broadway.
Exactly.
So I mean, obviously, we're big fans of this one. It was
also the I mean, do we want to say anything else about women drivers too? Because they make a cameo too, which I was like, of course. We don't really talk too much about that. Probably we don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah,
that does come into it.
Yeah. So they're the new Catherine millennial woman wants to take over the shop, wants to bring in a young female driver, which God forbid a female driver in NASCAR. We can't have that. But so they do a race off to determine who's going to be the best driver. And this is where I thought they would win you over at this point. The racer, who I don't even know the race car driver's name. Like, I don't know.
We'll call it Camille.
He has a
the guy.
The guy. He has a bracelet with spells on it, he said. And I'm like, if anything, this is gonna win Keith over because he's like, whoa, spells. I love spells. And then we hear it's from Tibetan monkeys.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God.
It's very powerful, but the best part is it's made by Tibetan monkeys.
You mean monks?
Yeah, that's what I said. Monkey, same thing.
And it's like, yeah, that's long form for Tibetan monks. I'm like, who even thought that was funny?
No one.
Sure, the laugh track for 20 minutes.
That might have been one of the longest like laugh track jokes or whatever.
Do we have a time for that one? Did you gauge that one?
No. Oh, I found the longest one was there was like it was a joke about hunting. And I don't remember what it was, but it had like a super long laugh track. I should have written it down. If I find it, I'll put it in here.
Yep.
But so his bracelet that was made by Tibetan monkeys breaks in his car and he gets in an accident. And then we're setting up for the rest of the show, the rest of the episodes. So it's going to be, it's not, we don't know who's going to be the driver going forward. It's going to be one of the two, either the 19-year-old attractive female girl, who of course they had to bring in like a model for this, and then, or the guy that has been doing it, but
who's also a model.
Yeah, of course. Yes. So, I mean, that was a show. It set up a lot. Now, granted, it's a pilot. I always give pilots
it was a pilot.
The benefit of the doubt. Yes.
It seemed like a pilot. Yeah.
Yeah. And everything I've read, like looking at the reviews and stuff, I've read that people say that it does get better.
Okay.
Will I ever find out? Probably not.
No. that was what I thought was so weird, because again, it almost like it was trying to fit into like millennial sensibilities in a way, because it had like a person named Amir in the production. You know, it had a woman who was taking over. And they really didn't make too much jokes at those people's expenses.
No, yeah.
But they lined it up so that you would think they were going to. So instead, it was kind of just like again, like wading into like the kiddie pool, and you're not really sure what it wanted to do. So it just ended up being, the pilot at least was just kind of a washout to keep the metaphor going, I felt.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, even some of the reviews even say like, you got to give it until episode 4 or 5 before it starts to get good. And it's like, who does that? Who watches 4 or 5 episodes of a series in hopes that it gets better?
I mean, you know what? And if you like NASCAR, maybe you would. But that was another thing that I talked about with my partner too. Like, there wasn't even enough car focused or discussion about really cars besides cars being used as a prop to really make it into like if you love NASCAR, like. I didn't learn anything about NASCAR in this except they drive cars, which I already knew, right?
Yeah, like, you got to be a fan of NASCAR coming into this, I think.
But then what kept you there? Because it wasn't really all that funny, even still. Like, I feel like they should have even had more car stuff if that's what they were going for, to really bring you in. But
I think it's like the behind the scenes stuff. Everybody wants to know like the behind the scenes of their favorite race car driver. But like, you know, I mean, for it not having a ton about actual NASCAR, like, they jammed NASCAR itself, the brand, down our throats. Like, and so let's talk about the product placement more. It was so heavy-handed. It was so uncomfortable to watch at some points. I mean, you know which part I'm talking about.
Well, I'm talking about the beer part with the beers.
Well, the beers, that one, yeah, sure. That one is all the time.
They're always at the bar.
Budweisers, Stellas, any Anheuser, AB InBev beers coming in, always with the label. Dude, and it's a multi-camera show, and the label is always facing the camera.
Wow.
Like, so it's like, we're looking over here from this character's viewpoint or whatever, and then like you go to this one, and it's like, it's always like turned. It's crazy. No, the one I'm talking about is the Dunkin Donuts Coolattas scene.
Yes.
Do we have time to stop for a Coolatta?
Oh, our driver's about to quit, and all you can talk about is a flipping Coolatta.
All right.
I forgot about that, and that took over someone else's car thing, right? There was another slam about somebody being a good businessman or something, right? And they went from NASCAR to being. They tried. That was it.
I don't know.
It was a millennial that tried to take it over, and instead of being a NASCAR pit crew now, they turned it into a Dunkin Donuts, and they said they're making more money than ever.
Oh yeah,
that's what millennials do.
Yeah, with those delicious Coolattas.
Yes, and then they come in the next scene with the Coolatta.
Yeah, we got to stop and get a Coolatta, and then they both have these giant coffee Coolattas in, and I'm like, oh my god, like it was so intense with the product placements for this. It was uncomfortable.
It was very uncomfortable. I mean, the whole thing was uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I mean, a laugh track makes me uncomfortable to begin with, so it set me up from the very beginning. For the first 3 seconds, I was like,
the laugh track was. The laugh track was bad. Like the laugh track, the product placement, the acting, the writing, the story.
Yeah.
Some of the acting was fine. We'll give it some of the acting was fine.
It was okay.
But it was just I would not recommend this show. Let's bring up the meter here. I am just below, just between watch it if there's nothing else to watch and like at the absolute bottom, because like I feel like I'm not going to watch it, but based on the people that left reviews that said it does get better, like I can't just completely blow them off. I have to give them some sort of benefit of the doubt. So I'm not putting it at the ultimate bottom. You know, somewhere in between there. And if if you're like drunk one night and you want to watch a show about NASCAR and
you're drunk on Bud, you need something, and
a slightly misogynistic heavy set man who runs a NASCAR shop, sure, check it out. What about you? Where's it fall on your spectrum?
I mean, for me, it was definitely at the very bottom of it. It's nothing I'm interested in seeing ever again. I would never have watched it if it wasn't for this show, but it opens up my horizons. I learned a little bit more about things I think I don't like, and then I watched it and I still don't like it.
And
if
So
someone wants to watch something like this because they find, maybe they like the more like it did have more of like a 90s kind of humor to it too, more of an old school vibe to it. So
definitely,
if you like that stuff and you want to be reminded of childhood and you got an affinity to NASCAR, go for it. But if you don't, then I would say avoid it.
yeah, no, and you and I talked about it when we picked this show. Like, oh man, we would never watch this one on our own. But then we're like, oh well, let's go in with an open mind. Let's try it. We can't all have the same. We can't keep the same style of show every time.
How many wings can we watch?
Exactly. So like I did. I went in with an open mind, and I was.
And you were hit with a laugh track.
And then, I was still like, dude, I didn't laugh once. There was one part where I got a little bit of smirk, and it was, there was a part where they were talking about the guy got in an accident because he saw a cloud that looked like Abraham Lincoln. And
the hat.
Yeah, that's the part when he does the thing with there was like, and it was like that. And I was like, I smirked the one time I did.
Mm-hmm.
But the laugh track, like whoever's laugh is recorded on that laugh track should sue that they forced them to laugh during these unfunny jokes.
You think they're getting paid per laugh?
Ooh, probably.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, that makes a lot of sense.
Literally.
Makes dollars and it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately there's too much stuff to watch out there for me to go back to this.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's fine. It was it was fine.
Did you deign to find a song that would go with this one?
No, I did not. I did not.
There's a million just NASCAR like country songs out there.
Yeah.
Pick any one of those, people. Go for it. This is your homework.
Yeah.
Find the most NASCAR song ever and let us know which one it is.
Something to do with I think like maybe or Kid Rock. I can see being a good one too.
Oh yeah, definitely Kid Rock. I think, he produced this show.
So what are we going to watch next week? We've got a bunch of things coming up, I think.
We do, and I'm excited for them. They're different still, but I'm more looking forward to them than this one. We've got, and I'm going in with an open mind, but it's very different from stuff I would normally watch. Next week, Marriage or Mortgage.
Perfect, yes.
A reality show about whether or not you should get a mortgage or you should have a grand wedding. Oh, sounds great, right? And then
that's so funny to me. Okay, people, I did not know the premise of that. So people would rather not have a house and just spend it all for one day.
Yeah, I think the show was built around the clever title.
Okay,
they're like marriage. That sounds a lot like mortgage. Let's make a show about it. But the trailer, either watch the trailer or don't. I don't know. Go in blind maybe. But it's got like these two, like the world's like leading real estate woman and the world's best like wedding planner, and they duke it out to see like who will.
Oh, this is amazing. So it's like Love It or List It, like that show where they redo the house and they decide.
I've never seen that.
There's a show. Sure. There's a show like that too, where people have houses that don't meet their needs anymore. So they have somebody come in to redo the house, but then they also look for other homes that meet their needs. And then when it's done being redesigned, they realize they want to stay where they were, or do they do want to give it up, make the profits. Now
I have seen this show. Okay, yeah. I know which one you're talking about. Yes.
Interesting. Okay. And have we talked about this now? Special guest possibility, or
I don't know. We're gonna leave that out. Who knows?
All right. Well, coming attraction perhaps, or it could just be the two of us. Possible
guest appearance. And then after that, like there's a new show that I really want to see. It's a Dota anime.
Yes.
That looks really cool. And I know nothing. I've never played Dota, not familiar with any of the characters, anything like that. But the trailer for the show looks awesome.
Makes me want to play.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not a huge anime fan either, but like when it's good, like I'll get sucked in.
Have you been watching like the latest seasons of Castlevania?
No.
Not really?
No, I heard that's a really great show.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the list. I got to get to it. But nice. Yeah. So that's our show. That's the crew. That is episode 5 of First Apps.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for checking it out. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, let us know what you think about this one.
Please,
obviously, we let you know what we thought.
And like, no, if you enjoyed it, I really don't want to, like, I want to stress that if you enjoyed this, like, don't think that, you know, we're shitting on you at all. It's just not our cup of tea.
Honestly, yeah. And let us know what you enjoyed about it, because I would like to hear what was enjoyable, because for me, it didn't hit the right notes. So I would love to hear what it did hit.
Yes. And like I said, how I read all the reviews, not all the reviews, but I went and I read a bunch of the reviews on IMDb. And a lot of people just said that they needed something like a mindless show to like get some chuckles out of. And I totally get that. Yeah.
And there were some characters that seemed lovable. I don't know if Kevin James hit that for me, but the other one seemed okay.
No, Kevin James is an unlikable douche. But the problem with like just putting the show on to get some chuckles is like, I want something to laugh at. I don't want to be annoyed. And I left this feeling annoyed. With the way that it was written and the way that it was Kevin James's character was portrayed. So
did you ever watch episodes?
Yeah, some of them. That's always one that I want to go back to.
Yes, like this seemed like the show that they were made to produce was a show that's kind of like this show actually that's produced. Like,
really?
It's about like these writers who want to make a kind of a cool show, but Hollywood makes them change it to a certain way, and it's not all what they envisioned, and like wants to sexify up the librarian and wants to like make the athletic coach a real dumb jock guy, and there was none of the nuances they had in it. They're from Britain, so they get nuance. Yeah, but Hollywood does not, and then it just becomes this terrible show. But they're in it then for the money, kind of, and it's very interesting, but. Nice. It just felt very like Hollywood's version of what NASCAR was, and I don't think it felt real at all. Yeah, exactly. But who knows? You know, like I said, if you enjoyed it, let us know what you thought. Mm-hmm. You know, follow us on everything. We're on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, anywhere that you could leave a review or subscribe or like. Please do it. We're really trying to grow this thing, make it pop, make it the jam. Make it the bee's knees. All those things. Exactly. What do we say? The kids still say that, right? The bee's knees? Oh, absolutely. I think so. Liddy? Is this thing Liddy? Liddy? Are we doing the Liddy stuff? I don't think I know what that is, Bob. All right. We've got NPR Keith. That means it's time to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. And we'll see you next time. Yep. Bye. The Crew, starring Kevin James, about a NASCAR crew that's trying to make it big. Let's do it. They got big dreams and big wheels. And big dicks. All right. On this week's First Steps, I'm Keith.